It's intermission time. It's great to get out to the movies.
I'm Megan. I'm the host of the Intermission podcast by The Synagogue. And today we have Clare Francis. Clare, do you want to intro yourself of who you are, what you do?
Sure. My name is Clare. I'm a writer mostly on Substack. I'm also an academic. That's not important. I have a PhD in media studies, and now I'm applying it to the intellectually serious platform of Substack.
Nice. Are you in LA?
No, I'm in New York.
Oh, cool. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for hopping on then with the time difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So your Substack is called Famous and Beloved Newsletter, right?
That's correct. It started as a fun blog that I called Famous and Beloved because I'm famous and beloved. And, now it's gotten out of hand and I have to introduce myself as the writer of the Famous and Beloved newsletter, but that's fine.
That's a funny name. I like it. Can you give the listener just a little bit of like a premise of what the Substack entails and what they could find if they were to go to your page?
Yeah, sure. So I write about culture broadly. I do 2 posts a week, a free one and a paid one. Paid one is personal stuff for the most part, or reviews of movies and books and shows that are particularly mean. And free posts are more normal reviews of things. Like I just reviewed Lena Dunham's new show, which I loved.
Oh, cool.
I talked about Bose Afraid recently on there. Yeah.
I still haven't seen it and I need to watch it. So that's interesting to know that you love it.
Yeah, I loved it. My friends were like, it's a little disappointing. It's not Girls 2. And I was like, yeah, whatever. She's never made anything that I don't love. And Too Much is so cute. I mean, it is the Emily in Paris of Lena Dunham shows, but to me, that's a great thing.
Yeah. Okay. I'm excited to watch it. Also, I know I probably should just read your Substack, but can you quickly just tell me the skinny of what you think of Bose Afraid?
I think it's awesome. Now, granted, I didn't watch it in theaters. I watched it for the first time because Austin Butler is in Addington. So I was like, okay, I have to lock in. I have to take this seriously because one of the categories on my Substack is Austin Butler. We can get into that later. But he's a great personal interest of mine. So I was like, okay, I have to start taking Ari Aster seriously. I thought Hereditary was fine. I liked Midsummer fine. But anyway, 2 years after it came out, I watched Bose Afraid on my television. And I was like, this is awesome. I was cracking up. And I also think Ari Aster has really interesting, unique, brave things to say about the way individualism operates, especially in America, which I think is great in Addington too. So I love Bose Afraid.
Okay, cool. And then this is a question that we ask every guest that comes on the show. But if you were to pick a movie that describes your life right now, what would you pick?
Maybe Bose Afraid.
What about it?
General nervousness, living in a city and being nervous about my place in it, maybe. But also maybe I'm always into movies about spectacle and appreciating the American spectacle even now. So maybe I can also just say that I'm living in Elvis in my mind.
Okay, cool. I like that. I think that scene in Bose Afraid, or I mean, a lot of scenes come to mind. I've only seen it once, and I also didn't watch it in theaters. I watched it at home. I actually didn't love it, but obviously I didn't know I was going to be talking about Bose Afraid, so I haven't really formulated my thoughts on why I didn't like it.
I mean, let's be clear. I'm one of 10 people on the globe that liked Bose Afraid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I understand.
It was also just long, like very long. But just what I was getting at, I guess, is the scenes of him like leaving his apartment and like the chaos that's right outside the doors of his apartment is I thought such a cool scene and a cool depiction of living in a city.
I love when his mom calls and she's like, so are you on your way to the airport yet to come visit me? And he's like, well, my apartment's like open to the public right now, so I don't know if that's really safe. The way he talks to people in that movie is a lot like the way Joaquin Phoenix interacts with people in real life, which I don't think people are privy to. I listened to almost his whole interview on Theo Vaughn this week promoting Addington, and he's crazy. Joaquin is so awesome.
He's a fascinating guy.
Love listening. Yeah, I just love listening to him talk.
Well, now we're going to get into our just general movie taste section to get to know you and what you consume. I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about movies as a form of artistic expression in comparison to other narrative mediums like TV, podcasts, books, visual art? Obviously, you are a writer, so I just want to see how you stack up film with those other artistic forms.
Watching movies is a communal experience, which I think is the thing that makes it the most different from watching a TV show or reading a book. And it kind of synthesizes the proscenium and the liveness of theater with the imagination of consuming something spectacular or narrative or not. But it also has the technological reproduction element of, like, you know, it could be narrative or not, but it has a certain aura of its art in that you're consuming a very short amount of history wrapped up in the image and the story or lack thereof. Film is a pretty new medium, so that's what I appreciated about it, is that it always has this inherent trashiness to it. I think movies are inherently capitalist in a way that's fun to unpack, especially when they're artistically rigorous in a way. So that's what I appreciate about it, is that they take on a huge breath and they're still new.
It's also, I find it interesting that you categorize movies as being communal in contrast to TV, because that is kind of true. Like, not often are you watching TV in groups, other than like the like Max shows that come out on Sundays. Like, often watching TV is like a solo experience, which I hadn't really thought about.
Yeah, I mean, in a past life, I was very engaged with theory about TV versus movies, and TV is a domestic thing and movies aren't. I mean, I watch most movies in my house now, but they weren't made that way. And I think they're made to be watched once over. And especially HBO shows now are content. And that's fine. It's just something that's different than a filmic object that exists in its own right, and for the most part is made with the express purpose of being consumed together in a public space. Except, like, you know what I was thinking about today? Remember when Addison Rae, pre-pop career, had a contract with Netflix, and she did that one Netflix movie, and then they were like, Addison Rae is a studio girl for Netflix and she's going to make more Netflix movies, and never did.
Yeah, I actually just saw a screen grab of like her in whatever the one thing was. And I was like, wait, this completely dropped off my radar.
Yeah. I mean, that you and everybody else on the earth. But I was thinking about that, and I'm talking about how I love to sit in a movie theater and watch movies with other people. But to me, like, an Addison Rae Netflix vehicle is the epitome of cinematic art. Like, exactly. That's exactly what movies were designed to do. Deliver us stars and be totally ridiculous. And like a venue for finding beauty in the capitalist machine of something like Netflix. So yeah, she should get back to those. She should have to fulfill the rest of that contract, and like Sean Price Williams should direct them. I think they would be really great.
That's really funny. Okay, so I want to know, because you got your PhD in media studies, so obviously you have a serious love and passion for this topic to do that much school in it. And I want to know, like, where this love and interest came from.
I mean, you know, I have an interest in talking and having opinions about stuff that's happening around me. But I my original idea getting a PhD was that I wanted to write a dissertation or a book about being famous. And I think I went through the rigmarole of learning theory and engaging with media histories and technological interfaces in an interesting way. But I'm back to being more interested in fame and stars and people than I am in movies. But throughout all of that, I mean, all of that started because I have really old parents and really old siblings. And so they showed me a breadth of cultural objects, not necessarily like classic movies, but I grew up, I'm a little too young to be fully locked into Austin Powers or like Kill Bill, but I grew up as if I was like an elder teenager when those things came out. And so, but then I was also being shown like Psycho when I was way too young because that's one of the most famous movies of all time, and kind of in my parents' limited purview of what are important cultural objects for me to see, they showed me that. And so I was just interested in like, these people in Psycho seem like they would be famous actors, but I don't know who they are. How does that work? Like, how is someone so famous and then I never see them in anything else as a person living in the same world? So I think that's how it started. And then also an interest in I loved Twilight when it came out, and I took it really seriously because I was like 12 or whatever. And I was like, why is it that people don't take it seriously? Because I actually didn't care for once. I didn't care about the boys in that movie. I just thought it was a good movie. I thought I was and I'm still very locked in, and I take very seriously that first Twilight movie. The rest of them I don't really care about. But, and I was like, why is it that this, like, obviously we know the answer, this women's object isn't being taken seriously? Like, I'm taking it seriously.
Yeah.
So a pursuit of trying to understand those things. I don't know how far I really got, but yeah.
In this same topic then, have you watched any films that you felt like the point or the plot of the film is discussing the discourse of fame, and what movies come to mind?
That's a really great question. One of my favorite movies along in this vein, and it's very like Tumblr millennial of me to say this because it got co-opted by people and I don't appreciate it, is Josie and the Pussycats.
Oh, it's a great movie.
I love that movie. It is so funny. But honestly, like, and Alan Cumming is in it, and he's the longest running MC in Cabaret. So it's an easy connection for me to make in the moment. But Cabaret is also a movie from a completely different time in Hollywood history that's about its star in this weird way, but also like this historical epic, and it's very serious, but it's also about a girl who wants to be famous or like cool. And all the Fosse stuff is really interesting to me about fame, and all the Baz Luhrmann stuff is interesting to me in that regard too. There's always some element of like a famous guy, or in Moulin Rouge, a famous girl, in all of those movies. And his new movie is about Joan of Arc, which is like an interesting take on fame too. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of off the top of my head. But I kind of read that into everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you drawn to certain directors or certain genres, like outside of obviously this niche topic? You're viewing movies with that in mind, but just in general, what are you consuming?
I always liked Michael Mann, but I had this aversion, like, 2015, 2016, I was like, that's for boys. And I think we can take other stuff seriously. But I think that cultural perspective is really tired. And so in the last 3 or 4 years, I kept revisiting some of the Mann stuff and realizing that what I like are movies that are American. That's like the perspective of my academic writing. And it's also the place that I'm coming from. I'm a white American girl, and I grew up listening to Britney Spears and in this very particular time in American history. And that's what I know. And that's what I am familiar with in a way that I can say people don't understand parts of it. And so that's what I like to explore, are like movies that engage the Americana in interesting ways. And I also like when movies are expensive. I like reading into the context of movies being an American medium, a capitalist medium, and what that means when real Americans and real money are engaged with it. So I would say that's my purview.
Yeah,
Expensive and American.
How funny. I've never heard anyone like have this point of view on film, and it's really fascinating. I bet a lot of directors would like to hear this, because like that's where the film industry is going right now, is like just a lot of big, or I guess not a lot, but just the big budget movies, because all the indie movies are like getting passed to the side budgeting wise. So that's funny.
I mean, to be clear, I love Sofia Coppola. She's one of my favorite movie makers. But because she, like, Bling Ring is about this extraordinarily particular time in American culture, and she's unpacking it from a very particular cinematic perspective. And it's not that I don't like movies that aren't from America, but I think that American movies are maybe thought of as like James Gunn movies or Marvel movies or Coppola movies. Mm-hmm. And it's none of those things. It's all movies are engaging with the Americana in some historical capacity. And some of them do it interestingly, and some of them do it with a chip on their shoulder in a way that I don't find is particularly well informed. But I also just like vulgar stuff that engages the Americana in this really stupid way.
If you had to marry someone based off of their top 4 Letterboxd movies, what films would you hope would be on there?
It's kind of a rite of passage for my boyfriends in the past to watch Titanic with me. So, like, I can kind of take care of that one. Silence of the Lambs, too. Those are 2 of my favorite movies. So, like, I can kind of cover that. I would more approach it from the sense of what's in their Letterboxd for that I cannot stand. Like, I mean, it's tired to say this, but I really don't have any patience for people who like the Avengers stuff. Like, some of the Marvel stuff I think is interesting, but I think film people are far too jaded. If you go out into the real world for 10 minutes, you will encounter someone who's like knows what the Green Lantern is, or like really likes one of the Avengers movies. And I like Guardians, I like Iron Man, but some of that, the like WandaVision stuff of it all, like I can't do that. We can't be getting into that. I can't think of like other stuff that would really turn me off right away, but there's kind of like a milieu of boy movie that I think people just pretend to like because they think it makes them seem intellectually engaged. Mm-hmm. That is the approach I would take. Yeah. The stuff I like, I can get them there. We can go there together.
Cute. That's a good answer. If you were teaching a class on 2025 pop culture, it doesn't necessarily need to be the year 2025, but just like up into this point, and you had to assign a few films to help explain the current moment, wherever you take that, what films would you assign?
Oh God, do the movies have to be from this year? Or
No. So like
from whenever?
Yeah, just films that would kind of encapsulate of like where we've now arrived in 2025. So like I can tell you, I wrote examples for myself. Civil War, the Alex Garland movie, I think would be a good example in regards to just like where we are as a country or could go. So it's a little bit of like, it's not where we're at yet, but it's a precursor to a direction that could happen in the US. And then in the other sense, in like tech related, I guess these are a little bit forward thinking, but it wouldn't have even been a notion. But after Yang for like AI technology, those come to mind.
Okay. So the first thing I'll say is Addington, because it just came out and it is like acutely about how we ended up where we are culturally and politically after COVID. And there's lots of stuff. American politics explicitly, and AI and movies. I think that people are kind of lukewarm on it now. People are really forgiving of Ari Aster. Like, they go and see these 3-hour movies that are really hard to watch, and they're like, yeah, that was fine. But I love Addington. I would put that on there. I think A Crisis, that everyone loves to talk about, but it is really a crisis, is the way that people behave about sex now, and sensuousness in movies, and women, and having sex. And I thought Baby Girl handled that so well. It is kind of like a brutal portrait of where women end up when they're completely immersed in this terrible culture of puritanical weirdness and expectations of women. So I might put that on there. God, there was another one I just thought of. But I mean, like anything that Lena Dunham has made, I think she has a really acute, resolute voice about what's going on right now. I'm less interested in what the internet is doing to us now. But I will say, like, the way that individuals behave about fame and respond to cultural trauma through being influencers, Vox Lux. When Vox Lux came out, I was like, that was the worst piece of shit I've ever seen.
Wait, I need to look this up.
Yeah, Brady Corbet, director of Oscar-winning The Brutalist, the worst movie of all time.
Wait, I've never even heard of this. I'm looking at it now.
You have to watch it as soon as possible. Natalie Portman plays a pop star, and she sings a song that Sia wrote. It's beautiful. But when this movie came out, I was like, I am feeling violent and homicidal. And then The Brutalist came out, and I hated it. I've since way softened on it. And I actually think the last act of The Brutalist is one of the purposefully funniest movies ever made. But I just thought he was such a weird guy, this Brady. I talk about Brady Corbet a lot on my Substack. I call him the Big B. The Big B is an interesting, weird guy. And when he would talk about The Brutalist, I'm like, what else does this guy have to say? So they screened as part of, what is that called? Bleak Week. They had a Bleak Week here in New York, and they screened Vox Lux, and he came and spoke. We were front row. I was so excited, but I was expecting to hate it again. I loved it. I thought it was like the smartest portrait of fame and individualism. And it's a little too harsh on women, I think. But it's about 9/11 and school shootings and pop music. This guy is nuts. The Big B is nuts. But then he did a Q&A afterward, and the way he talked about all of this stuff and the way he's thinking about it was he was funny. He was not overly sensitive and intellectual. He was like totally willing to engage the audience where they were with it. And he was so funny and charming. So now I'm like the B's biggest fan. I cannot wait to know what his next weird, giant, expensive movie is.
How fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, again, did not like The Brutalist. I appreciate it. I think it was not entirely successful. I wanted him to win Best Director so bad. And I didn't even dislike Honora. But my life's wish is Brady Corbet Oscar for Best Director. It will happen in the next decade if I have anything to do with it.
I like that. I like that a lot. I am going to watch it. Her like entire look here is absolutely insane. She looks like, I don't even have a comparison. Like, it is so campy looking.
Yeah, she looks crazy. And what are you looking at? Are you looking at like images of her?
Now I'm like Google images and she has like the white gray like streak on the side and it's almost feeling like Frankenstein-y.
Right.
But then the haircut is like pink.
Right.
Like, the singer Pink.
So part of this pop star's name is Celeste, and part of her lore is that she was wounded in a school shooting. So she has a wound on her neck. So she always has like a ascot tied around her neck, and then she has like glitter paint in her hair. And yes, her hairdo is very Pink-esque. So what I would like to happen is to dress as Celeste for Halloween in 2025, even though that movie came out in 2018.
That's funny.
I think it makes it even funnier.
That's funny. I do love a Halloween costume that is like a very, very specific movie character. That's good.
Totally.
Okay, I have one last question for this section and then we'll get into your movie pick. What movie would you assign to explain girlhood and all of its contradictions? What movie comes to mind? You can say multiple.
My easy answer is Lena Dunham's Sharp Stick, which was her... I can't remember if that came out before or after Catherine Called Birdie. I think it was her first movie post Tiny Furniture, post Girls. And the way that people are behaving about Lena's new show with this apprehension of like, can she do it again? Can she follow up Girls? Is I think misdirected because she's made these really complicated movies since Girls Wrapped. But that's the reaction I had when Sharp Stick came out. I was like, she's making the movie was like billed and is about a young, unique girl having a sexual awakening. And I was like, it sounds a little similar to Girls, but with this hugely different subject. Can she accomplish that? And I was like totally blown away by that movie. I've only seen it the once, and I'm like trying to keep it that way because I thought it was so special. John Bernthal is in it, and he's like so hot and weird. And my favorite part about everything that she makes is Lena Dunham's performance is like crazy. But yeah, it's really funny, really sexy. And I think just like really bold about particularities of sex that a lot of people wouldn't be bold enough to go there. So that's the first thing that comes to mind, I would say.
Very cool. You're putting me on to movies that like have not at all. And we've done like over 80 episodes and neither of those have been mentioned. So that's fun.
That's honestly surprising to me. In the world that I live in, Vox Lux is like Citizen Kane. But I'm happy to make that the case for a new batch of people.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to get into your movie pick. You chose Elvis, that came out in 2022. When I found out this is your movie we have a group text, and I was like, I wonder if this was ironic, like this choice of movie. I want to hear why you chose Elvis. Well, I mean, now getting to know you more, I get it, but explain to me.
Okay, so I'll explain this to you, and I think it will better contextualize all of the things that I just said. And you're getting to know me for the first time. So I'll also learn a lot about like the mental illnesses going on here. Okay. So I'm like 30. And when I was a kid, I loved Ned's Declassified, Zoe 101, Hannah Montana. And there was this dude that kept popping up in all of this. I think he was in a couple episodes of Wizards of Waverly Place. He was really blonde, but especially in Zoe 101. I was like, who is this guy? He pops up. I recognize him. He's really funny. And I wasn't like sexually investigating the situation, but I was very intrigued. Okay, fast forward. He's like always on my back burner, and then he gets cast in the Sharpay movie spinoff of High School Musical, and I was like, finally, he's gonna like have a starring role, this guy. And I learned his name, Austin Butler. He's like the love interest. I can't even remember in the Sharpay movie. That's right, the Sharpay movie.
I didn't even know that existed.
Fabulous Adventure. I don't even know if I've seen it. I must have, but okay. So now I know his name. then he starts dating Vanessa Hudgens. This was to me, this was like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie times 1,000, okay? Because I'm a child and I really care about High School Musical, but I also love celebrities and I love when they date each other. This is like the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. But not Megan. Not only do they date for 9 years, okay? So me and me alone, I'm locked into this. I'm like, when is Vanessa Hudgens going to be taken seriously as an actress? Like, I love her. She's the best host on any red carpet. And when is Austin Butler going to be a celebrity? Like, and everyone forgets. People make fun of influencers in Coachella now. In like 2014, I think everyone recognizes Vanessa Hudgens as the Coachella person,
Totally.
the pioneer of Coachella influencerdom. But she was there with Austin. He wore his skinny jeans to Coachella. They looked ridiculous. And they would always dress up for Halloween and like they were a Hot Topic couple. They were ridiculous. They posted on Instagram like 50 times a day. Okay. So I'm following this with great intrigue and curiosity, but I'm not like thinking this guy is the hottest guy I've ever seen. Well, then there's a problem. He's in Jim Jarmusch's Dead Don't Die. And now I'm an adult. Okay. So I've been following this person being like, he's going to break out. He seems cool and weird and like a perfect actor to win perfect actor to win an Oscar someday. Colin Farrell-esque, just kind of hot and weird. He gets cast in a Jim Jarmusch movie with Selena Gomez, and I like the movie. I'm the only one who likes it. Right around that time, he gets cast in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. It's all happening. And then right around then, he gets cast as Elvis. Okay. So not only have I been proven right that he's about to become the most famous person of all time, now I really have something to look forward to, okay? Still, I'm like, I'm not really sexually invested in this person as like a celebrity crush. I just think it's very interesting. Okay, Elvis comes out. It's like I'm really making a big deal out of it, mostly in jest, okay? Baz Luhrmann is someone, like, I love Great Gatsby because I was a teenager when that came out. And so that was really great fun for me. Romeo and Juliet, I grew up with that, fine, whatever. Moulin Rouge is whatever to me. It's a little loud, a little, like, I'm not really into it, okay? So I'm, like, not totally sold on Elvis, but I'm going to pretend. I sat opening Thursday night for Elvis in the suburbs in IMAX and was like, this is the most fun that I've ever had in my life. Now, is Elvis a perfect movie? No, it's boring. He runs out of steam at the end of the movie and it becomes not fun. Okay. Baz Luhrmann is not a great master of images and story. But I was like, right, so I love Elvis, and this is the greatest movie that's ever happened to me. And now Austin Butler is a hot guy because he has money, he has a stylist, and he and Vanessa Hudgens have long broken up. So now we really have a problem because now he's starting to get more work. He's going to be in Dune. He's like the hottest guy I've ever seen. And the other problem is that I grew up loving Elvis. He's a famous American hot guy. It's like perfect for me. And I really love Elvis's music. I loved One Direction and I loved thinking about the lineage of like a hot guy as famous musician and the trajectory that led us from Elvis to One Direction. And by the way, Harry Styles really wanted to play Elvis in Baz Luhrmann's Elvis. He didn't get the part, but on Nardwuar, he was like, I love Elvis. Okay, that was a side note. Throughout the years since like 2019, when Austin Butler got cast as Elvis to now, I have really been keeping close tabs on it. And I consider myself the Club Chalamet of Austin Butler fans. I think that's a perfect role for me. Like the Austin Butler fans just won't accept me in that way. Like I try really hard to get in with them and be like, I'm crazy. I'm like Club Chalamet, and they don't care about me. At the end of the day, I'm just not crazy enough to take on that role. But so Megan, that's why I chose
That was
Elvis.
good. That was good.
Yeah.
I loved all of that. It all made sense to me. I mean, you and I are like the same age. So your reference points are all very touch points in my life as well. So that was really funny. Wait, was Austin actually on Ned's Declassified, or were you just referencing that time?
I am 85% sure he was in a couple
episodes.
It's
so funny to think about all his little cameo roles as a kid and like how he's, because it's like online, I'm on Twitter a lot. So like the discourse is always like, this person came out of nowhere. And it's like, well, no, they didn't. They've been like working.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
What I forgot to talk about is when he was the love interest in the Carrie Diaries. That was what
I forgot
was
about
like,
that.
I still didn't think he was, yeah. And you loved it, I'm sure. Prematurely canceled.
I have watched many a canceled show. I think I just consume a lot. I'll kind of watch anything. Like I tell people I'll eat anything. I also will watch anything. I love it all.
Yeah. I mean, and that time I probably thought he was cute because we were both teenagers, but I mean, that really set the scene. I think that's when I locked in and was like, okay, I was right all along. It's happening.
If you were to cast, obviously we're loving Austin as Elvis, but like if there had to be another actor in that place, who would you imagine could live up to that role?
I'm pretty sure in the running for that was Miles Teller, which seems crazy. But I would have loved that. Yeah.
I could see that.
I mean, he's a psycho. Elvis is a psycho. I like that totally works to me.
Thoughts on Tom Hanks's accent as the Colonel in this movie? Like, I feel like that was the most insane.
I need that. The fact that Tom Hanks made up an accent from thin air for no reason to play quote unquote the Colonel, and he calls himself the Colonel in a fat suit in the movie about the hot guy, like that's all really important to me, and I am totally accepting of it.
Earlier you mentioned Sofia Coppola, and thoughts on the dual perspective of this time frame. Well, I guess not exactly this time frame, but Elvis versus Priscilla.
Yeah, I wrote about this. I'm pretty sure you could probably find it on my Substack, but the Priscilla movie makes me very sad because there was kind of this legacy media tour she had done where she had mentioned that she wanted Justin Bieber to play Elvis. And I think that colors kind of the movie that she wanted to make, which is Bling Ring-esque retrospectively, and how she wanted to talk about Americans and fame and boys and like bad boys and what they do to young girls. And that's not what she ended up making. I think that my friend had a great take on Priscilla, which is that it's like put together in post and there seemed to be a lot of parts missing. And the way she kind of insecurely engaged with that press tour reiterated that for me, in that it just didn't come together. And I felt I understood what she was trying to do, but without Elvis's music, with this kind of like really distanced engagement with the fame of the contemporary and the fame of that time period, it just didn't work for me. And I thought it was like a mean movie to do to Jacob Elordi. I thought it was boring and it didn't give him enough to do. And I understand that was kind of the point, but he didn't even get to be that embarrassing. Like he should have really been acting foolish, and they didn't give him enough to do. And I really like him. I think he's a good actor, but he's just in the most abysmal shit of all time. Like he needs to be in a real movie. So yeah, Priscilla just depresses me.
Okay. I'll have to read the Substack on it too. I didn't realize that you did that, so it's perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that is all I have for that section. And at the very end, now we're just going to play a little game called One Word, One Actor. And I think this kind of ties in nicely with your love of celebrity. I'm going to say an adjective and you tell me what either actor, or you can say a character from like a specific character from a movie, what comes to mind first. And I just have a couple here. So first I have brooding.
I mean, this is how simple my mind is. Now all I can think of is the scene in Priscilla when Jacob Elordi is Elvis pretending to be into religion. And he's like, Priscilla, you don't get it. I'm spiritual. So maybe let's run with that.
Okay, quirky.
Pedro Pascal's character in Materialists.
Oh.
Did you see this movie?
Yeah.
Celine Song is crazy. She's someone who is quirky.
Ethereal.
Okay, here's a good answer because Trisha Paytas just named her kid Aquaman. Amber Heard and Aquaman.
Wait, I didn't know that's what...
Yeah, Trisha Paytas has named her children Malibu Barbie, Elvis, a girl, and Aquaman. So, of course, to me, this makes complete sense.
I thought... I didn't know what she actually chose, but I kept seeing memes and stuff about her kid being Ozzy Osbourne reincarnated, which is on brand.
Yeah, I think her first kid was born like the day after Queen Elizabeth died. The second kid was born right after Pope Francis died. And the third one was born after Ozzy Osbourne.
So good. Okay, next we have playful.
Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. This comes up all the time in my life. Like, people were too hard on Joker. Joker is a 3-star movie. And when Joaquin Phoenix is playing the Joker and goes into a refrigerator, that's like great. He's the playful Joker.
Okay, tender.
Speaking of Aquaman, Jason Momoa in Dune is
I totally
like
forgot he was in it. Yeah.
But yeah, like I love tenderness in man friendships. So let's go with that.
Cute. Okay, I'm just going to do 2 more. Menacing.
One of my favorite movies is Silence of the Lambs. I've seen it 1 million times, and I am still scared of Buffalo Bill. What a great performance.
Okay, and then finally we have Magnetic.
Austin Butler is Elvis.
That's kind of perfect. Okay, cool. Well, that is all I have for you today. For the listener, can you plug your Substack again and where they can find you?
Yeah, my Substack is Famous and Beloved Newsletter, and I'm on Instagram. I just made a public account a couple days ago, and my @ is Clare is Famous. So you can follow me and find me there.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. I had a ton of fun. I'm thoroughly entertained with this subculture, this topic of Austin Butler. It was very good.
Thank you for having me and listening, and I'm happy to spread the gospel anytime.
Good evening.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. To stay in touch, follow our Instagram page @It's Intermission Time and share with your friends. As always, Intermission is produced by Jazeel Chu and Olivia Dean, and of course, hosted by yours truly, Megan Braun. This episode is brought to you by The Synagogue.